variables that we have. Our goal, when we have an explanatory and a response variable, is to try to see if the explanatory variable is in fact the cause. Is that the reason for the response that you're getting? Alright, you see a bunch of pictures up here. This is exactly what I want to see on 33 through 38. You're going to answer these problems via pictures. And it's going to be one of these three types of pictures. Okay, and if there's any more to write on it, you write it below. But I want you to write them in pictures. The first one is just our basic causation. I've got an explanatory variable. The dotted line means there's an association. If I created a graph, I got a positive association going. That's what the dotted line means. But the solid line means that this explanatory variable is the reason that you're getting the response that you're getting. And the example I use here is, I hope this is true, the greater time you spend studying, the higher your grade will be. So not only will there be a positive association, but that's actually going to be the reason that your grade is going to be higher. I think you do a problem tonight, it's a causation one, but they actually reversed the arrow. They thought it was really the response variable that was the cause for the explanatory variable. So just be aware you can manipulate this in different kinds of ways. So now there's no lurking variable in this one. There's no other lurking variable causing this. Now let's talk about two types of lurking variables that you can have. This one is called common response. In a common response lurking variable, the lurking variable is not only causing what's happening to the response, it's the cause of what's happening to the explanatory variable. And the example I'm using here is the one I've given you many times. Study was done, kids with more cavities, we're getting better reading scores. There's a definite association there. If we did a graph, cavities and reading scores, and have a nice positive association. So that's there. But is it the cavities that are causing the reading score to go up? And the lurking variable that we had in this situation was how old they were. The older they are is the cause for the more cavities. And the older they are is the cause for their higher reading score. So when you have a situation where the lurking variable is a direct cause to both the explanatory and the response, we call that a common response situation. A situation where the lurking variable, I can't tell if the lurking variable or it's the explanatory variable or maybe other lurking variables are the cause of the response variable, we call that a confounding situation. Where the lurking variable could be the cause or it could be the explanatory. The example I think is given in the book, there have been studies done, and people that are more religious live longer. There's a definite association there. Now, I've had questions in other classes to say, well, this is categorical, you yes or no. Well, you can make categorical into quantitative. If we ask people, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 how religious you are. We could actually get a number for people. And there's been studies done that people that are more religious, there's a definite association, they live longer. But is that the cause, or could there be something else? You know, maybe they have a better lifestyle. Maybe that they, don't smoke and drink and all that stuff. That's the reason that they're living longer. It wasn't their religion. It was the fact that they're living cleaner lifestyles. I don't know which it is. Which is it? That's a confounded situation. I've got a lurking variable, and I don't know if it's the lurking variable or the explanatory variable. So when you have a situation where your lurking variable could be the cause of your response or the explanatory, we say that's confounding. So how can we get rid of these lurking variables? How can we get at the cause? I want to know if it's that. Well, there's only one way to do it, and it's through a well-designed experiment. Now, we spent about a month on experimental design coming up real soon. I'm just introducing it to you here. I don't expect you to remember it. But the only way I can really truly determine that the explanatory variable is the cause is if I run a well-designed experiment. Now, what are the three factors in a well-designed experiment? I need something called randomization, replication, and control. Let me give you an example. Let's say I got this new pill, and I'm sure it's going to cure the common cold. How can I prove it? Well, here's what I got to do. I'll get, 60 people, they all have colds, and then I have to randomly flip a coin or something. I have to randomly put them into two groups. That's the randomization piece. In other words, I can't I got this new pill, it's great. Let me put a little bit of the healthier people over here and a little bit of sicker people over. It doesn't work that way. I want the kind of same level of sickness in both of these groups, and the only way to get that is through randomness. So I've got two groups of people. Hopefully I got a lot in each group. That's replication. Hopefully I got 100 in each group. That'd be even better. Okay? So I've got these two groups. One of the groups, I'm going to give a pill. I'm going to give the new cold pill. The other group, I'm going to give them what's called a placebo. We'll talk more about that later. They think they're getting the cold pill, but they're not. And then at the end of the study, okay, we'll see if the colds are better in that treatment group, and that gets rid of all the lurking variables. You can't say, oh, maybe they had better lifestyles. No, I randomly put them in the groups. The lifestyles are the same. So you see all the lurking variables, all the what-ifs go away if you randomly control the experiment. I don't know, it's been about 10 years now. The Senate hold committee hearings on smoking. And there was all the CEOs of the major smoking corporations, Philip Morris, all those folks. And they said that smoking has never been proven to cause cancer. And they weren't lying. Smoking has never been proven to cause cancer. Now think about how you would have to design an experiment to prove that smoking causes cancer. I've got to get a whole bunch of people together who've never smoked. I can't let them choose, right? Some of them might self-choose to smoke, right? They might also have other habits that could be bad, that could cause cancer, right? So I got to get a bunch of people who don't smoke. I got to randomly put them in two groups. And then what do I got to do? I got to make these guys smoke like chimneys. And I got to make sure these guys don't. You see why that's never been done? You're killing these people, right? There's never been. Now we've killed a ton of rats. We've done this experiment on rats a million times, right? We got these rats and these rats. We make these guys smoke. These rats don't smoke. These rats all get cancer. But rats aren't humans. So smoking has never been proven to cause cancer. That's a true statement. But there's so much evidence. Finally, a couple of years ago, the heads of the corporations finally admitted it. They did admit, finally. And it's like a few years ago. It's not that long ago. We've all known about it since 1960. But they've never been able to do an experiment. I mean, think about how these experiments are done. What if I got a new pill? Now, these are done. This does happen. I got a new pill that we think is going to cure AIDS. So I get 60 people with the disease. I'm going to randomly put 30 over here and 30 over here. I'm going to give these guys the new medication. I'm going to give these guys nothing. So let's say the pill works. These guys are going to live. You've got to let these guys die. Because you've got to see later if there's side effects or anything like that. You've got to run it all the way through. I had a mother-in-law who had leukemia. So I was looking like crazy to try to get her into an experiment for a new drug. Now I knew there was a 50-50 chance she might not get the drug. But at least if she's in the experiment, she's got a chance to get the drug, right? Okay, so there's a lot of ethical considerations that go on here. Okay, but like I said, smoking's never been proven. You can't do it. Okay, questions or comments?